Welcome to Biggest Geekest. We're your hosts. I am Joe.
And I'm Randy.
This is episode 130 of our show, and the date is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. You might see that I'm a little bit more lively today.
Lively Joe.
I feel human because I didn't actually work today.
Ooh. I tell you what, did you have a Monday's kind of slog after the change in the time, or did you just transition smoothly?
No, okay. So Sunday morning, we watched the church live stream.
Oh yeah,
because we pay attention to the clocks on our phones more than anything else. And then after that, I was wandering around the house, went into the kitchen, and we have a clock on the stove and a clock on the microwave, which are both wrong. I'm like, that's weird. Maybe we lost time or something. We had a power outage, or I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
Then a little later, I got in the car.
Oh.
And that's off. I'm like, what? I had no idea time change was Sunday. It just totally flew over my head this year. Usually I know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But not so much this time. And then, so it didn't really affect me on Monday. What affected me on Monday was the fact that 7 people called into work. Everybody had extra work. I didn't get home until 7 o'clock.
Oh my.
And so I made a nice chunk of extra overtime money.
Right on. I got all my stuff changed to I changed my clock Saturday night around 9, so it was kind of weird. But Monday was a little draggy, but I was kind of excited to get back to school. I've been on technically a spring break, but excited about being done. So 6.5 weeks, baby. Can't wait.
Well, I'm on the overtime list at work, which means I want overtime, which is why I had to work overtime on Monday. Well, we're having some management issues, let's say. So I decided, after being told that I have to stay 12 hours today.
Oh my.
I went over and I took my name off of the overtime list. So hopefully going forward, I will be a little bit more lively. I know sometimes I feel it must look like I'm almost asleep because I'm very tired from working. And often I work right before we're on stream. And it can be a real drag.
We got some of the usual suspects, mostly unusual suspects. Duncan Bradley, Darth Martinson, Patrick Demo needs a little pick-me-up today. Said he's feeling down.
Green Apple.
Yeah.
Here at the prison, they installed my window. It's brand new, as is obvious to anyone who looks at it. Yes, I switched my... maybe you didn't see it before. I switched my desk around a couple times. I'm still not really happy. It's a huge desk. It takes up so much space. It's great that way, but it's difficult to get it in here optimally. I mean, kind of was before the first position, except the screens blast light down the hallway. And if my wife wants to sleep, and the only way that works is if I close the door, and then the heat register makes it bake in here if I do that, which will destroy the computers. So I'm trying to figure stuff out.
Right. Oh, so hopefully we'll have spring before too long, maybe in a month or so.
It's Michigan, dude.
I know. I get it.
You tell it you want spring, it gives you extra winter. In spring.
We had a sunny day, but it was great.
It could turn spring tomorrow. It could be 60 degrees tomorrow.
Yes.
And then by the end of the week, we have snow.
Right.
And that's Michigan.
That is.
Any place where the jet stream kind of plays havoc with the weather.
Right.
Which isn't climate.
Right. Oh.
Until it is.
Did you get to game at all this past week, Joe?
No.
Boo. I did.
What? Huh?
I did. I played a little Deadlands on Saturday. That was
braggart.
Cool. I know I'm bragging my butt off. We had a good time. I completely hosed my players, took all their bennies away from them. It was quite cool. Oh, Patrick says weather comment. We're expecting 50s all week, but snow at the end.
See, that's Michigan.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh.
It was a nice sunny day. We drove down to Canton today.
Okay.
For an appointment.
Ohio? Canton, Ohio? Canton, Ohio?
Yeah, we went to Ohio and back in 4 hours.
You're fast.
Yeah. No, Canton, Michigan, you weirdo.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
So that was interesting, fun.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else interesting happen with you besides gaming? What did you do?
In the gaming or otherwise?
Yeah, what were the games again?
I just played Deadlands. Mr. Larry Elliott just showed up. He was there. A couple of other friends. We had cool back-to-back weeks with sessions of the kind of experimental game that I'm running with a little bit of a quantum leap feel, and it worked out pretty well. I'm not sure if I'll keep the same thing that I did going, but it was a cool time. It was a close fight at the end. Not quite a nail biter, but it wasn't fully comfortable, so it was fun. Oh, Talislanta. Oh, best of all, no elves.
No elves. Long shot, is that up on Kickstarter or Indiegogo? What's up with that?
Yeah. Okay.
If it's not $500, I might be interested.
Right. I'd be intrigued. Oh, Patrick made a good point. Yeah, we got to meet on Thursday. It's a meeting of the minds. We have a secret group, me and Joe and Patrick and a friend of ours, and we're working on something. I don't want to spoil anything yet. We're just going to work out and keep it quiet for a while.
It can't be much of a secret now. You blabbed.
No, we're working on something.
Blabber.
Can't be much because we're only working on so many things. L says, Randy did a solo video on that Shadow Dark. No, I did it on Scarlet Heroes that I played with the T-shirted historian one. Yeah, it was actually quite fun.
This is a great review of your video. It was a God video.
God. Oh, dude.
But he made sure to spell God with a small g because
of course, no sacrilegion.
No.
He was, yeah. I guess referring to our Thursday meeting. Is it the meeting of the mindless? Yeah, mostly. But it was fun. Yeah, thanks, guys. I did it. I gotta flare things up. So this week, I want to try to get a re-unboxing of a Planescape box set this week out. So
that'd be cool.
I'm not going to do it randomly. I'm going to start with I'm going to do the order that they were printed. So we're going to start with the Planescape box set and work our way. And I want to make sure Elle is there watching and recording the video as I review it for him, so we can run his Planescape campaign.
Right. Now, he asked a question earlier.
Who did, Elle? He would never do that.
Yes.
He never asks questions.
Let's see here.
He's the silent but deadly type.
Where is it at?
Oh. Oh, wow. Tamerlane's Pledge, all in everything. Epic is $199.99 with the early bird price. Wow. Oh. You probably can get the book for much cheaper.
Tis a lot. Well, it looks like I remember him having some here we go. No. Oh, here you go.
You don't mean monsters with class levels, do you? Zeph the No. Tonight's episode is about using, because we're kind of doing a monster mash. The last one was, what was our last monster mash? It was a bit of an off the wall one, homebrewed monsters, and now we're doing one on NPCs. Oh wow, really? Malachi, speaking blabbing, during the LOM Legion of Myth interview, Sean of Palladium said they were talking with BGE guys about getting Palladium on the site.
Yes, and I sent them an email very recently. Haven't heard back yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, and they're
busy folks.
They're a two-man operation essentially. That's true. I've been like, so we've been there. Everybody knows that, and they are.
May need to send them another one. Maybe it gets lost in the stream.
I'd love to get them on there. That would be awesome for them, but actually be awesome for us. Actually, probably more awesome for us.
I hate to do this straight off.
Oh, what are you doing?
But my newest puppy sounds like a dog. Sounds like she wants to go outside.
Okay. You take over for a while.
Come here.
Do all the cool stuff.
You want to jump up here? Come here. Come here. Will you come up here and see, look into the camera? Come on.
Cool. Well, I hope you do come to. I was playing with his dog. Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Oh, look at her.
A plot hound, if you've heard of one. Plot, Plott.
Oh, anyway, look at this. Another channel predicted we won't be around for long. Oh man. Oh well. Or for Ling.
Oh, who?
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's probably, I'm not dogging us. I'm not backing down. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that's probably a high probability. I mean, in terms of like companies like us are going to have a hard time competing with the beast that is Drive to. I am no way implying that we're quitting. I'm just saying it's okay if they think that, and they might.
We may never, never be a true competitor, but never said we were going to be. It'd be nice.
We might be one day. I have a feeling. So
I'm saying sorry because she has to go to.
Okay. Can we just talk about some stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about some stuff. I'll be right back.
Okay. Wow, Arn Man, the man that could answer that question. I will star that question. You said, did BGE put their funds in SVB? I don't know what that is, so we'll have to save that for Joe. Someone just typed no, so maybe that's that. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Elle says all that Silicon Valley bank money you use for venture capitalism. Yeah, we're not venturing much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Patrick, does he wonder what channel predicted that? It's cool. I mean, they're not playing stupid. So, I mean, what I mean by that is, if you were betting the startup won't make it, okay. But hopefully we're going to beat the odds. We're going after it. So, David Gwill's in the house. Got a lot of good people tonight. I'm going to wait for Joe to start the topic, but I was wondering, since I hopefully got the chat's attention. Oh, and I have the power again. Holy cow. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mess with stuff while Joe's gone. Look at that. That's kind of boring. There's got to be something I can do more. Oh, that's not even ours. Ooh, that's fun, though. I'm finding all the stuff, dudes. Joe is gone, and Randy will mess around with crap. What is that? Subscribe. Oh, yeah, do that. Do the things. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in here. Oh, Joe's got a background. Can I like steal that? No, that was Joe's. I can't steal it. Or did that kick on? Yeah. Look at that, dudes. I'm dominating. So that's pretty cool. Don't tell Joe that I did that. I say random somethings. I'm just messing around here. I don't remember. What is this? Patrick L says, I don't remember. I was watching T-Shirt and Grim go full Chimerian earlier. What does that mean, full Chimerian? You guys are saying words that I don't understand, but that was not for me, so I'll shut up, Al. Yeah, so I think this week I'm going to go ahead and do a Planescape unboxing, re-unboxing, and talk about the setting that I used to love so much in second edition. I still do love it. I think it's lost some of its luster, but I'm still pretty pumped about the setting itself. I think it's still very good. Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, okay. Mr. Boivin says full Chimerian equals hyper autistic rant. Oh, what were they ranting about? I didn't see anything. So, anyway, I did notice that apparently Diversity in Dragons gave it to Bob the World Builder about him getting the invite to the new WotC summit of YouTubers that are important. I don't know. I guess it'll probably be Jenny D, Bob the World Builder. I don't know who else. I wonder if they would invite Professor Dungeon Master. He's kind of a fairly big one. But that was last week. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to WotC much this week. That's all that I saw last week, and focusing more on the games that I'm running at the house and things like that. Yeah, you would think WotC would try to be a little more diverse, Malachi. He says it's funny. The other people Bob mentioned were all white. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So, oh, thank you, Malachi. Nerdarchy was one at Randy Nichols. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, well, I think I agree with Diversity and Dragons. It's a dog and pony show. They're just soothing the fans of 5e that got all mad about the OGL stuff, and it didn't take much. But I mean, that's cool for them. I mean, you're going to get a free trip out there and a per diem if his little letter is right from Bob the World Builder. I guess could be a fun trip, maybe. Not that they would ever consider inviting me, but whatever. Mr. Boivan. Hey, Crafting Gamer. Mr. Boivan says they're inviting all the white men and we'll get rid of them. Strategery. Understood. Well played, WotC. Well played. I'm trying not to talk about anything else, but honestly, guys, I'm a little bit devoid of very cool things to say. You might say I'm like that all the time. Non-gaming note, my alma mater, Indiana University, is in the tournament, so that is exciting. Oh my, Patrick, I'm almost afraid to say this. Never underestimate WotC's power to turn any desperate attempt to bring back fans into a diversity circle of jerk. Gotcha. We are close to 400? Oh, yeah, dude. Get to 500 and we'll give more stuff away. You know what? I think if we hit 400, I'm going to give something away for sure, though. What is this? Fladey asked the question. Oh, man, dude. Any movement on Big Geek Con? No. I'll be honest with you, dude. It's weighing heavy on my mind and heart. Big Geek Con is something I really want to happen. I got Cabin Con coming up, and I know you got to get your time off. I don't know if I can commit to that. I got so much that I'm going to be doing this summer, even though I'm not teaching. I really want to. I would love to do that, but I just feel like I'm not sure I'm going to have the energy. And when Joe gets back, he's, "Oh, you can do it, you can do it," and then he'll pump me up, and I'll be like, "I can do it." And I don't know, bud. I know you need the info. I'm sorry, bud. Oh, okay. That's good. So Mr. Max Boivan says 500 is a big one and unlocks community post. Yes, we need to get those up. Hey, Shadow, what's up, brother? Okay. So L's being slick. I'm not following this one. He said the Creator Summit is perfect for tonight. Speaking of NPCs. I think he's being slick. I'm not picking up on that one. Did you know what that means, Joe?
Nope, but I wonder. Does anybody? I will say, I don't know if it's come up, but Happy Pie Day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the math guy didn't bring it up. Well done, Joe. You even posted it on Facebook.
Did you have pie today?
Did not have pie. I had yogurt.
I had pie. So did my wife. We had pecan pie.
Okay.
So we're talking about 500 for who?
Us. Mr. Boivan says if we ever hit 500, it unlocks community posts.
Oh, 300.
Oh, okay.
Does that. We already can do community stuff.
Oh, okay.
They must have changed it.
Oh, L is calling the people. You know the Creator Summit that WotC's doing for all the people that they're trying to get to love him again. He's calling them all NPCs. Fair enough. It is a big milestone. Thank you, Shadow. I hope we get it, man.
Let me see. Let me check again. I think the last time I checked, we were 4 away from 400.
Yeah, that's what Green Apple told me. I think that we were so close to 400. It was crazy. So, not Green Apple. Yeah, it was Green Apple. Green Apple said it. All right. Oh wow.
Yep, 4 away.
Blavan's catching up on us. He's almost got 300 too. So
that's cool.
Good man. We are all rocking and rolling. There is plenty for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pie is big.
Do you know the Hoosiers made it into the tournament in a non-gaming note?
Basketball,
Indiana. Yeah, baby. Come on. What else is there?
Yeah. When was the last time? No, they did a couple of years ago, and they blew it.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, though, he says, how many decimals can Randy recite pi to? Not very many. I use 3.14159. I kind of quit after that. Just never found that all that exciting.
After that 9, it's pretty irrelevant anyway.
It's the thing. Some people, we had a student at one of our middle school math competitions recited 100 of them.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. That's not even close to the record, but that's cool. But yeah, I didn't take the time to memorize all that. Yeah, I know E a little bit too. E is another number that's irrational. Oh, phone guy. Thank you, bud. DV Army in the house.
DVR.
Cool. Excellent. Well, yeah, Mr. Blavan. He says it is likely all the people subscribing to you and I, of course, they have good taste. So they don't want to miss out on either one of our shows. Wise people. Oh, Shadow Sun's got 600. Nice. Good deal. He said, take your time. Don't panic. It takes time. Yes. We gotta
go. And we're not going to not be us. I mean, we could be like pundit types, not RPG pundit, but pundit types where we rant and rave, and that's just not really us. We have our opinions about things, but and we will gladly share them, but it doesn't really, we don't have it maybe needs to be youthful people doing all that. Yeah. I can get mad and be snarky, but
yeah, Shadow says just be yourself. I agree. I think that's our best bet. I can't be anybody else. Not really.
No.
So
in that vein,
yeah.
Let's see. Let me bring up the old
outline.
Yeah, that word. The old outline. So
into a topic.
Yeah. All right. So if you're not already, please like and subscribe and share this with your friends. We just started a Patreon. Patreon.com/biggestgeekus. So you go there, you can support us with your ducats if you want.
Cool.
Or your dollars. Now, someone mentioned SVB a little earlier, and I typed in no.
Yeah.
We did not. I mean, there's a little cash in PayPal, and PayPal might have theirs over there, but there's not very much.
Cookie.
Yeah, more content. We need more content.
From Randy, specifically.
Well, I will challenge that assertion.
You assertion challenger.
Well, it's better than challenging insertions, I suppose.
Let's not do that. Oh, goodness.
Right. So, yes, head on over to patreon.com/biggestgeekus if you would like to become a patron. We have a $1, I think it's $1, $5, $10. And that what they do and what they're called, all that's it's kind of fluid right now. So it's new. So if nobody joins in soon, I might alter things a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Malachi just said Randy should make some riffs videos. And I was typing, I don't think I know that game well enough. Then I thought, you know what? That could be fun. I could just make up crap about riffs that's not true.
Yeah, yeah. What I was considering doing, and once again, if you might want to, it's up to you, consider Randy, you might want to consider just piping your commentary just to YouTube, because you're going both to YouTube and Twitch. I don't know that we have anybody over there.
Oh, I see. I was wondering if Mr.
No, we don't have anybody at Twitch right now. So
Hawkman was the one I was. Should I hit remove or not? Is
what? Remove what?
Remove the purple one, the Twitch one?
No, you don't have to remove anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying you can
make comments on YouTube.
Yeah, you know how to do that? Remember how to do that?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So riffs. I had been toying with doing a little series of Learn Riffs with Joe. I know riffs a little bit. I don't know the canon behind it all that well. So it'd be kind of like a newbie. And I could run it. I can do a little online deal, have a couple of folks who don't know riffs very well, and we can all learn it together. And the viewers can as well.
Is Locals a European thing?
No, Locals is a different social media type platform.
Okay.
And it was started to be a kind of a free speech type deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what Green Apple suggested, that we do something with Locals. So I don't know what that would mean for us.
One of the YouTuber, I'm trying to remember his name. I found out about from him first. I don't think that he invented it or created it, but he was the first person that I remember hearing it about. But since I can't remember his name, it's just not
Dave Rubin,
I guess.
So Dave Rubin Flady says used to be owned by Rubin, but he sold it.
Oh, I didn't know that Rubin actually made it. So,
dude, the man, the myth, the legend. Shauner says he showed up for a minute. Welcome, buddy. Just stay on YouTube. We probably summoned you last week talking about you, and some of it was even good.
Yeah, I just think a lot of us have been talking online in different places that while we don't like a lot of YouTube's policies, it's where people are at. It's where people congregate.
Yeah.
I mean, what if I said we are moving to Rumble? How many people on here would move with us? And
right.
But I mean, with just go and transplant over because we say so.
Right.
And there's Rumble, and there's Odyssey, and then there's BitChute, and then Brighteon, I think, is another one. There's several of them. I don't know. I tried Odyssey, and they had a bunch of weird ways to get your videos on there that involved their cryptocurrency, which the way to get it was to get people on there. It was just kind of circular and weird.
Yeah, and Shauner makes the point YouTube has the super chat option.
Correct. So
hope we can get to a point we can actually do that. That would be cool.
If we can, and thank you, Shauner, for subscribing either again after leaving or perhaps YouTube unsubscribed you forcibly. He and another person popped up, and I was like, "Holy crap! I thought they had already subscribed before." But
yeah, I guess it's probably a thing. So
the only thing I would use those accounts for is perhaps a backup to have another place where the videos are stored. So for archiving purposes, because some of them will upload them, but there's usually some kind of caveat. A lot of our videos are over 2 hours.
Yeah.
I know Odyssey said if it's over 2 hours, they won't automatically archive it. So.
Oh, okay. Beetle Jew Yuri. Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen him. What's up, Legion?
Hey, Legion.
DV Army. YouTube takes a percentage of super chats. You might want to take a look at Substar or a similar scheme. Ooh, scheme.
Subscribe Star is what he's talking about, right?
Oh, okay. Subscribe Star.
Yeah. Again,
we'll see when we get to that point.
We don't have a big enough following to. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have one person that's a regular supporter on Anchor, and we have someone who occasionally sends a hundo on PayPal.
Nice.
And then we have folks who go over to Big Geek Emporium and buy stuff over there, which is also good.
Yeah, do that, man. That's cool. That's the best. That way you get stuff, not just us. So
right. So, but if you feel froggy, go on over to Patreon and hit us up. I dare you.
Oh.
All right. So, topic. Main topic. We're going to talk about monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, StreamYard. No, StreamYard doesn't offer any kind of donation thing. There's Streamlabs, but not StreamYard, at least not at the level we pay for.
And Legion concurs with Shawner. He's looked at and used many other options. Until there's an audience reach, YouTube is where to be. Yep.
All right.
A new Monster Mash.
Yes. NPCs is monsters, and we're not talking about monsters with class levels like Elle was wondering. What it's more like Snidely Whiplash. The bad guy is a person who may have class levels, but may not. There's no guarantee on that.
Yeah, NPCs as foes was my idea that you would run into.
Yeah.
And how we rank them. I was first kind of wanting to go through, Joe, if you're interested in this, and I kind of laid it out, the different ways that NPCs have been statted up and shown as, how to stat up in different versions of D&D. If you don't mind, I would like to show a couple of, present a couple of things here. Let's see here. I'm going to turn something off. You heard that ding probably.
Yep, that's you.
Let's see.
Mr. Noise Maker.
Being a noise maker.
We would hope that it would make E85 because I have a vehicle that takes that as well as regular gas. So let's hope.
Yeah. I'm going to do a little screen shareage. And let me see if I can make this happen. Is that big enough for folks, Joseph?
It looks visible. Hey, Victor.
So this is that Gorchif? I can't see with the book.
Yep.
All right. So OD&D. This is book number 3, the Monsters book. And they talk about on page 15 the possible types of guards and retainers in a castle and the fighting man. This I thought was interesting. So they suggest the fighting men within castle will demand a jousting match with all passers-by of like class. Otherwise, they'll demand a toll of 100 to 600 gold pieces. That's kind of interesting.
That's fairly steep.
Magic users,
especially if it was in your campaign.
Yeah, and magic users will send passers-by after treasure with the geas. So the moral of the story is do not go visit castles, dude.
Right.
That's kind of
that depends. Do you want their stuff?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then you're going to kick their butts and take their stuff. But my point was, so to play one of those characters, which is not a huge deal in OD&D, to have an NPC as a foe, you just make another character, right? You make a certain level, and they have little tables there. You can see 25% chance for a magic user, a 50% chance for a cleric, and then their level ranges they might run into. I thought it was just kind of interesting how that particular version of the game was, the NPCs are just basically PCs. What's Darth got to say?
I once had a big bad evil guy that acted like a prisoner of some. Well, he says tugs, but he means thugs, just to be saved by the party. Then he started following them, helping them out, and learning how the party works. Then he turned on them.
Right.
That sounds like a classic Randy move.
That is so good, Darth. That's exactly how you use NPCs. Oh, Duncan Todd's late to the party. My dude. But yeah, so that was interesting. And then that's a good move. That's always a good move. That's going to be a comment later on. In one of the early days of D&D, I had an NPC that got the players to hate, which was kind of cool. That's a good way to get them to hate them, especially if they can not kill the party, maybe kill a couple of them, but kind of screw them really hard and then get away.
Is that sufficient amount of time for you, Mr. L, to have read it? Sorry.
He can read in the chat.
Well, no, maybe he's on his phone. He might.
Right.
Yeah, who knows?
Roger that. But that was interesting. So there wasn't much to go on with NPCs that I could tell other than just make them like PCs. Then came along the rules cyclopedia, but I know it not directly. Randy's share. Would you like me to put that back up?
Yeah.
I can do that. just apparently not very quickly because I'm gonna do this.
Randy is like fast.
Look at me.
If you don't stop him, he will have all of his things shared and off the screen before, in like a minute or two.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah. So
Speed
this
read.
Yeah.
Catch up.
He loves to do this all the time, and then he
keep up there, son.
You can't. Sorry, Al, but yeah, that's just the castle. It was a comment on NPCs. I thought it was kind of interesting here with the.
Hey, you know what? What might help is if you can dismiss your sidebar where it shows. Can you do that? No, that's not.
That's not full dismissal, is it? Hide sidebar. Bajoom.
There.
How's that, homie?
That may help.
Yeah, that's just, they talk about the NPCs and how you could run into them. Occupant. I love how they refer to them by everywhere. They refer to them by their title name. Wait a minute. Die one. Oh, I see. And some other creatures, but the number after indicating the type die to use to determine how many. Oh, okay, that's fun times. But basically roll on a table and you run into these guys and then you stat them. My point was you stat them up like a PC, essentially, right? Because they're not in the unless I missed something, I did not see them in the listing of the monsters other than just this. Make a level 4 cleric or a level 5 wizard. So yeah. I do like I just noticed that for each one of them they give them a little cleric expects a tithe. So just walking by, they're gonna be like, hey, give us your stuff. So
yeah, but how would he know what we have?
He just says a tithe, 10% of all your money and jewels.
And if there's no payment possible, we'll send the adventurers on some form of lawful or chaotic task. Quests. Under the quest spell. So the wizard guesses you, or the cleric quests you, which is they're similar.
While the fighting man is jousting you.
And what happens if you have? Well, see, this is what Randy would do. He would have 4 towers. He'd have a fighter tower, a wizard tower, a lawful cleric tower, and a chaotic cleric tower.
Right.
And then you would get gangbanged.
Oh, wow. No, that's kind of crude, but probably true. Pretty accurate. Okay. I'm gonna move this away now. So that's all I want to do.
It is kind of an odd. Imagine. Okay, so anything like this, you imagine the world that your characters live in.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're, how does he know the passersby are adventurers?
Right.
Right.
And got stuff worth taking.
Imagine if this. They didn't have thieves in this version of the game, right?
I don't know. I'm going to say
because if they
eventually, yes, in the Greyhawk, I think the Greyhawk supplement, but not on this OD&D game. No.
What happens when you wander by a thieves guild?
That's all there were. Those 3 dudes.
Right. So if you wander by a thieves guild, they come and take all your stuff. That's probably what it is.
Or they leave you alone because they're not.
Or assassinate you.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, that was pretty old school back when they were all about adventuring and kicking butt and taking names, things like that. So,
and there are fairly hefty numbers of appearing in that.
Well,
one of them had a D20.
Yeah, they were about. I don't want to say some realism. I mean, they were more like simulating a real quote unquote world where there'd be lots of fighting men and kind of army sort of stuff. It did come from chainmail. In fact, you'll see that in some of these that I passed by quickly, they reference chainmail, like right here. So that's a common theme in OD&D is they often reference chainmail, which is kind of odd if you don't have it. But I guess back then there wasn't much to worry about. So
it was the expectation, right?
Yeah.
For use with. I mean, does it say that on the cover?
Say that again. For use with?
Yeah. Does it say for use with chainmail?
Let me see. It says rules for fantastic medieval war games, campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. But I am looking at book 3, so the other books might have, but no.
Probably not.
And this is also the cleaned up copy that Wizard of the Coast sold on drive-through long time ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a cleaned up reprint. Which, by the way, did you know to get the reprint copy of that they did a cool brown box reprint? I think that's like $300 or $400 now for the reprint. So yeah, no thanks.
People earn their money.
Oh, dig this. Iron Man says his OD&D box came with 3 pamphlets and a chainmail included.
Well, maybe that's what they did back in the day. I mean, his did, so that must be why.
Was your box set $10, Iron Man? Yeah, that would be the original Malachi, if not the very first print. So, yes, sir. And then along came BECMI. Of course, we're not gonna quibble about when BECMI happened, but when they showed the NPCs, they took a little bit different approach. And I'm going to try to hide the sidebar. There we go.
Well, quick question.
Sure.
So, you're the DM.
Yep.
You have somehow determined that there is a cleric's tower, let's say.
Sure.
And the assumption is they will quest you. So the additional assumption is that they're of a level to cast quest, which makes sense because to have that tower or whatever that a cleric would have, they would have to be name level, I'm pretty sure. Like 9th or 10th level. I'm pretty sure that's a 5th level spell.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, their highest level was 7th at the time, I think, if not just 5th. And that's old. That's old. So anyway.
Yeah. So anyway,
how would you just come up with those guys? You'd have to come up with those guys, kind of on the spur of the moment.
Well, the good news is there wasn't much to worry about when it came to character creation. Everybody used the D6. Attack bonuses were rare, and it was it was simple to do. The game was super.
It was
simple.
Easy to throw down something like that.
Yeah.
On the spur of the moment.
And I'm sure, like with Guy Gaxarnis and his buddies, they knew that stuff inside and out. But you're right. You did have to come up with something either on the cuff or you had it statted out. Maybe, heck, you could take time and you could just write a stats for a first, second. I bet I could write stats for a 1st to 10th level fighter and have just the stats in front of me probably in 30 minutes. Just make them up. Don't roll, just make them up. Roughly the hit points, roughly the armor class. But if you really wanted to be, real precise, yeah, you were in for some rolling and some effort. Because technically they're made just like a player character. But I doubt if too many folks. I don't know, maybe they did make all those stats out. I don't know. Did Iron Man do that whenever he was running 1977 D&D? So, but anyway, and then look at the BECMI stuff, which is basically I'm using the rules cyclopedia here for just simplicity.
Well, that's a point of contention, though.
What is? Rule
cyclopedia for BECMI, because there are a few different editions.
Got it. I understand. This is the one I'm talking about, though. They had humanoids written on this page. Oh goodness, what is the page? I don't know.
Oh, hold on. Stop. 155.
Thank you. 155, man. Talking about where humanoids and demi-humans can be encountered. They had a pretty now this is where I think Rule Cyclopedia is sweet. Reasons for appearing, looking for a friend, looking for an item, not what they seem.
Oh, right, that's Randy's favorite.
Right, Darth. Oh yeah. Bait. Oh yeah. Cinema's bait. That's good. And then they had alignments determined, class randomly. But they didn't have much in terms, again, you had to stat them up. And these characters were slightly more complicated than OD&D characters.
Yeah, because they got up to 36 level.
Yeah, what if you randomly just rolled out? Well, they don't have levels here. Oh, I don't see. Oh, determine class, alignment, select the equipment for the NPCs, can be added if desired. That's probably if you roll, they're probably assuming you're going to roll those NPCs up beforehand and not just really wing it. But you could wing it. I think they had stats for like dwarves and elves in the main body of the monster stat block. Bear with me here. I'm gonna do some switcheroo.
Right. They would usually have, some monster manuals had examples of humanoids that were already made up for, but they were usually generic, like they would call them berserkers or something similar. They wouldn't be necessarily class humans with class levels, not necessarily.
I'm just trying to get to the elf if I can find. There it is. And then they had the generic elf. Can everybody see that one, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I can. And that's everybody enough.
That's all that matters. Yeah, you can see it. No one else is watching. So armor class, hit dice, 1 star, so different levels. And then it starts talking about if you run into so many elves, you'll have a leader who's this and its level is this, but they don't give you much more than that.
That's so that's probably how you would do it in a lot of these situations. If you run into one lone fighter, he's probably first level. But if you run into like a troop, if you run into bunches of them, that's probably the assumption.
And generally speaking, that's how they stayed with their NPC encounters throughout TSR D&D. Somebody saying something funny?
Yeah, well, Randy, you are moving around the page very rapidly, making it difficult for anybody. You're probably causing some people to have seizures right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Sorry, El. Someone needs to take my mouse from me. That's fair. But I was just trying to get at these particular stats. I'll probably leave it static for a minute. So they didn't give you much info to go on. And I think that's, from my modern viewpoint, back in the day, I didn't care because mostly I just made it up,
Okay, so Malachi has a good question, and we're going to have a good answer for him. He says, is that supposed to be a first level elf? Why does it have a D8 for hit points? Well, it's a monster.
Yeah, there was some of that. And an early OD&D, if I remember reading it correctly, and Armin can correct me, I think like NPC dwarves and elves could have dark vision. Well, they didn't call it dark vision. They could see in the dark. Epilepsy warning, says Legion. And I think they could see in the dark, though a regular player character dwarf could not. That was originally the rules.
Right. So monsters worked, which, to be honest, I'm at this point in my gaming life, I'm fine with monsters being different, but it is a little odd that a first level elf, just by dint of being the monster, has an extra hit point on average.
I mostly did this. Arnman says, to be honest, most NPCs were just role played with the idea of them being low, medium, or high level. The stats would just be created if a fight took place. Yeah, on the fly.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if they got levels to just classes. I don't know. Maybe.
What?
Elle says, sorry, I need to act like I'm on a podcast too. Elle says, oh, monsters get levels to not just classes. Monsters. What? I don't know what that means.
Okay. Who don't really know, but elves in this game were elves. They weren't wizards or whatever. So you're just a level 1 elf.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with Mr. Boivan.
Now he might have seen something that he's referring to but I have no idea. Right,
could be. So anyway, now I found this to be pretty consistently true throughout the editions for TSR editions. Let me find the first edition. Here is the first edition. Oh, you can't see this.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
So I wonder if the reason, this is from Darthic, reason for lack of class listed, elves are elves. They don't have class. Their class is their race. So just got to remember that if that's not coming through. We didn't have human up there, so we don't know if that's in that group as well as elf or dwarf or whatever. Right. But right.
Okay, so Elle's giving me some crap again, and rightly so. Let me see if I can get that back up again. Moving so slowly. So I move fast once I have presented, but I move slow in the presentation. Let me find ROC. And he is referring to what? He said the monster type demi-human rare. Yeah, that goes back to that previous table I showed. I don't want to fly through this and throw people off, but back around page 155, where you can see that demi-humans are kind of rare. But yeah, notice they even give you options for the alignment if we really want to stick on this idea. So you had a little bit, and I agree with Darth. I mean, it was probably done intentionally. So yeah, a save is, saves as a first level elf.
Yeah.
Number appearing, hit dice 1. It doesn't say that it was a D8 though.
What is? I wonder what this treasure means. Oh,
Treasure
I
type?
know. Nothing.
Correct. I always assumed that. I assumed those treasure type letters meant nothing.
Nothing.
So like, don't give them treasure because characters literally hate treasure. That was my default setting. But and just I don't want to spend too much time on first and second because there wasn't too much difference in terms of how they presented these NPCs. But let's at least take a look at the dwarfiest dwarf that's ever been a dwarf, to quote Jeremy Crawford. Not the dragonist need dragon. Hold on a second. Remove, stop, slide over, not very well. This is a big one.
But this isn't basic anymore, though.
This is one, right. I'm sliding this out. I'm just trying to point out how they presented them. Look, this is interesting.
Oh yeah. No, there's a reason for that. It's the whole wargaming roots.
Yeah.
The minimum you're going to meet is 40.
Yeah, and the maximum 400. But look at the hit dice on this dwarf in the Monster Man. This is Monster Manual 1E. Look at the hit dice on that dude. 7. Treasure type, quite a bit. Number of attacks, 1. By weapon. Yeah.
I imagine that's supposed to be hit points.
You think?
Probably.
Well, shall we do a quick speed through and
the common dwarf probably does not have 7 hit dice.
They do talk about his different down here at the bottom, dwarves typically band together, fighter clerics. If 100.
Oh, hey, look, Basic Expert joined us.
What's up, man? Glad you joined the game. Which there is no game. Yeah. Oh, say, look. Legion agrees with me. Don't give them treasure. The best house rule ever. Treasures for the week. I find they appreciate.
Shut up.
I find, Max, that they appreciate it more when they don't have anything. I just think they do. They appreciate the fact that when you finally let them have a sword, not a +1 sword, just a little bronze sword that's going to bend the first time it hits the back of my Bulette, even though they're second level, they're fighting Bulettes. Yeah, that's interesting. So
yeah, it worked fine for the NPC person that we took it off of once we killed them. And then once we used it, not so much.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is that was one of the things that I always thought about. I was like, if I geared up the NPCs the way you guys got geared, that would be like a fight with an NPC party would be great in terms of treasure you could or should get, but not so great in terms of the actual challenge.
Yeah, you really can't kid out, the odd NPC now and again, perhaps, but not every NPC you meet and fight is going to be geared out like a PC is.
Yeah, everybody be calm at the moment. I'm going to drive you crazy.
It shouldn't is a better way to say it.
Right. I'm trying to find the elf entry just so we can compare.
Okay, Legion. Did we get treasure in our risk game? No, you got a psychosis, and I probably have 1 too. Just as good as money in my book.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, apples and oranges. Shut up.
Happy as a pig in slop. I don't care. If RPG is dumb is listening, I don't need treasure. I just need more psychoses.
Plus, you already got most of those characters get lots of cool toys just to start out with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. I think that's a typo because notice the elf. 1 + 1 hit dice. And I'm like, why aren't the dwarves just kicking the poop out of the elves? How do the elves ever combat dwarves if dwarves start out with 7 hit dice?
Yeah. These were first prints.
Yep.
A lot of times they had typos or
no, dude, this is the special.
And stuff.
No, this was the special edition one. This PDF I bought.
Yeah, but they didn't edit anything.
True.
They just slapped a new cover on it.
Yeah.
The only other thing they might have done is you have your first page and it will say something about, this game was written in a time that was entirely problematic. Every person on the planet were problematic people. We just have to take that into consideration and don't, there are problematic words and images and blah, blah, blah. If you got it from drive-thru.
Yeah,
or DM's Guild.
Basic Expert says you should look at the Fiend Folio. It's interesting that the number of appearing in the random tables there say there are 4 to 14 encountered. Yeah, sometimes when I was playing, I'm like, where do you pick these crazy numbers? 7 to 31. I mean, okay, we can figure the dice out for that, but how stupid.
I know where they got the numbers from.
Where?
Their rectum. A lot of this stuff was just things that they did. You know, they pick a number.
Yeah,
Let's pick a number.
It was
That's
crazy.
all they did.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say much about the second edition because there's some details that change. But the truth is they statted them out roughly the same way. And they did, I'm just looking real quick. They did fix the hit dice on the dwarf in second edition. They went from 7 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of funny. Now, third edition.
Are you even looking at your screen?
Oh, sweet.
So
Thanks,
Legion of Myth says, I asked Kevin and Sean of Palladium Books about supporting Big Geek Emporium. And then he says cliffhanger. That's typical DMing.
Yes, good DMing. Well done.
I say that in love.
Yeah. Basic Expert, I agree. That's just weird, random stuff. 40 to 400 in the 1E Monster Manual, and Fiend Felios is 4 to 14. I think they hadn't quite gotten away from their roots of wargaming. People, I mean, you can do it, but I didn't consider Random Group of Elves to be a military unit.
Well, in the conception of the early game, everything was military units. Mm-hmm. So, can you let's just imagine a war-torn world? Maybe you would meet big troops all the time.
Oh, you could. I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't set it up so that could make sense. I just mean as a young DM, I was like, I'm going to put 400 orcs in my first level party. Now, granted, I know I could jazz it up when we talked about it. It could be a thing. It could be a cool encounter and have them kind of scout the orcs out and realize they can't fight them, or maybe take on a party of orc scouts and that'll be it. But I mean, when I was young, I said, okay, 40 to 100, 40 to 400, here we go. So, yeah.
Yes. And we're what level?
Yeah. So
first,
yeah.
I mean,
40
the thing is the way to handle this. There's two ways. I think one is you understand all the caveats of the game like this, and you try to make your world with those conceits in mind. You may end up with a kind of wonky world.
Yes.
Or you can have some built-in conceits that you make your world with, or have in mind for your world if you don't want to make it all at once, and then rejigger all this stuff. When you see 40 to 400, you say, yeah, I'm not using that. So I think a more experienced GM or DM could go either way. But then you probably, the first time that happens, the players are like, what? There's 400 of them? They're right around the corner. We didn't hear them? Nope, they're elves. They're sneaky.
Malachi says this, and Iron Man backs it up. He says, I like how they did it in Basic. He thinks that's the part, the game where they have an encounter number and a settlement number. And then Iron Man makes the comment, it was written somewhere. Don't even ask Gygax that the 40 to 400 was a clan settlement, town, wilderness encounter. Dungeons would be DM discretion. Okay.
Right. I've heard that people give lots of different ways this could happen. You're if it's 400 of anything, you're going to know they're there from a long way off.
Yeah.
So the encounter distance is going to be long.
Yeah. And L, if you're talking about us, dude, no, you're not understanding what we're saying. He says, I'm assuming he's referring to us. They don't read the books. They just mock things they understand. First of all, dipshit, I want to tell you this right now. I've read the Monster Manual 12,000 times more than you have. So shut your hole. If you can't understand things, why don't you just piss off? If you're wondering if I'm pissed off, I am. Don't read the books. I guarantee you I've read first edition D&D more than you have. Okay, so if we're going to pull our wieners out and start measuring them, you lose. Okay, so shut up. My point was, when I read it and I was young, I didn't understand it, and so I said that. But no, you don't really listen, but that's okay. Sorry, move on. Not had enough of your stupidity, L. Go ahead. My bad. Move on. Right. Rant over.
We're moving on to third edition?
Yeah.
Or second edition?
So Um, so let's see here. Third edition. So here's my point, and this is where I think third edition.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. No, I didn't. You don't listen.
Again, you're not listening. I said that's 7 hit dice, but it's probably 7 hit points because not hit dice. That would be dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be dumb. That was my point.
And if that's what you thought we said, you're not listening.
Yeah.
You're just, picking and choosing.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. He can piss off. So anyway, I think what's that? Look, Al, I don't mean to be a butthole to you, but it's just frustrating, dude. Try not to just pick at stuff for no reason, especially if you're not listening. So third edition, here's where I do think third edition, this is the Dungeon Master Guide, and I hadn't seen, there is no Dungeon Master Guide that I think can compare to first edition's Dungeon Master Guide. I think third edition, though, is close. Whether you like the game or not, here is a quality thing about the third edition book. And it was necessary. So their NPCs, not only did you have very cool tables, and I know they're tiny and maybe you can't read them, but you could they had evil NPC race or kind with the levels, or with the races. And the kind, that's interesting. I don't even remember that word. Race or kind.
Where?
Oh, okay. Notice that. Look at that. NPC, race, or kind.
Yeah, it doesn't let you highlight. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But I thought it was interesting that not only do they do that for every class. Go ahead, yeah.
Kind is explained over here on this column. Dwarf deep, dwarf hill. So the race is listed, and then the different sub races.
What we would call a sub race today. But this was not the only thing.
They're all sub to me.
Yeah. As you move down here, I'm sorry if I'm moving too fast, but I want to show some things. So they had it broken down by levels or by alignment and race. And that's not all. Here's the good ones. And again, I'm sorry if I'm going too fast, but I want to get to the meat of this. This is a great table. And then they went so far as to give you sample statted out NPCs at level 5, level 7. Granted, that's not the whole gamut, but it's a lot. And then the barbarian NPC suggested gear, right? And it didn't match a true PC, but it made for good encounters. Now we can, begin pooping on third edition for all the data and all the stats. But dude, those tables were, if you wanted a detailed table, third edition was your go-to. And the DMG for third edition is the best one, in my opinion, that has been made for Dungeons and Dragons, next to first edition. First edition is number 1, but utility, it was great. Now, yeah, we can get it and start beating it over the head saying, well, it had this problem and that problem, and I won't disagree. Everybody has their opinions on that. But I absolutely loved this part of the book. I was very impressed coming from second edition, right? Every class is statted this way, folks. So you could have some sweet NPCs, just pick the level, boom, you've got it.
Right. And the NPC version of the PC class was purposely geared out lower for probably for the reason we were talking about earlier. You don't want to have a PC all geared out, an NPC, a classed NPC geared out just like a PC. You just don't.
And if you notice, which is kind of nice too, in that gear, see if I can scooch this over, they give you wiggle room. So there's some extra money if you wanted to give them a little extra things. Or is that the value? That may be the value of their gear. No, it says plus. Except.
Well, there it says plus, but here it says except. So as 5th level, except 2,500.
Gotcha.
That's 9th.
Understood. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that made that book very, 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 very useful. Of the third edition books, the Monster Manual Well, actually, when I played third edition, I liked all three of them. I thought that's one of the reasons we played them. They were all good. I was using the DMG almost as much as I used the first edition D&D guide or DMG guide. So all those NPC stuff, they're in the DM's guide. They're not in the monster manual, which is
right.
Change. Yeah.
Well, if they did this type of thing a lot in the monster manual, it would just have been so big.
Oh, sure. So. Now, in the later monster manuals, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which they did a bunch of in third, they also added class levels to monsters. And when they had savage species, of course, you could play all the races. So that became, it got out of hand and all that stuff, but it was still, pretty sweet in terms of utility. Oh.
He had mentioned it or something earlier. Arnman is talking about how there were editing issues, which we all know about, which is why I mentioned the 7 next to the hit die, because it's obviously an error that should have been caught by an editor. And he's saying that Gygax wouldn't let the editors change anything.
Yeah.
So why do you have editors?
Yeah.
That's weird.
True. We'll see.
And there were some, he has a couple examples here in the chat for those who are just listening. Apparently in the early game, I'm not sure which book he's referring to, probably the first OD&D, it said one reference is made to the saving throw table, but that table is called saving throw matrix for magical and non-magical items.
Yeah.
So, and then another reference is sea turning undead, and it's called affecting undead. So there's issues. And that's just 2. That's just 2. I'm sure there's a bunch more. Like
the 71st brings up a good comment. The AD&D Rogues Gallery can be used this way. Yeah, that was a pretty good supplement. I had that for a while. Your favorite character's name came from that, Joe.
Volsivar?
Yeah, I think it is in there. Hey, Jack,
he was an NPC.
I think his name was in there. I'm not sure if he was a wizard though.
No, he was an assassin.
Okay, look that up. If you
he was a Waghalter.
Waghalter. Yeah.
And I just thought that was his last name, but it was this class title, and I'm pretty sure that's an assassin title.
Yeah, it is. I'm almost positive. Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. And so a lot of utility in the third edition one. And honestly,
a note. Randy and I, when we were much younger, had an argument for who came up with the Volsivar name. We're like, yeah. I invented that name. No, I did. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. And it ends up neither one of us did.
It was from a book. Yeah, I think it was the Rogues Gallery, dude. I'm almost positive. In the back under assassin.
It could be. I thought it was a module.
It might have been a module. I don't remember. It just seemed like that's what it was. Volsivar the Waghalter. That was funny. Now I'm going to give some props to 4th edition here. I think for utility, 4th edition had some great elements. As bad as the game was, in my opinion, the stats, and let me share the elf archer, the elf in general. Let's see. That's really small.
Is this from what is this from?
This is a monster manual.
Is it from the Essentials edition, or is this from like the monster manual, like the first version of 4th edition?
It's the first version of 4th edition. Those that have played it could correct me. So I don't know all the statty stuff.
Because they had an Essentials edition, right? 4th edition Essentials, or I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, and I think that was a matter of whether or not how you wanted the player's handbook to read. They said they tried to write it more like a 3rd edition. Someone told me that. I don't know the difference. I didn't buy anything beyond the core book. But here is the stats for an elven archer. Now you got to realize that in 4th edition, they had all these different, for each monster, they would have 2 or 3 sort of design types for certain types of encounter. Notice the dudes, they call him artillery in the upper right-hand corner, and he's an elf archer, and he's got different stats, but I did enjoy them having some of those options. Like, for example, if you wanted a different sort of elf, you could get an elf scout level 2 skirmisher, it said. So they gave you different stats, not as many and as varied as roll. Thank you, Malachi. You said it's roll. They're roll. Yes. Not as varied as the 3rd edition book, but stuff you could pull out and play. When I first bought the monster manual, I was impressed that I had stats for a variety of elves in one spot. I quickly found out it didn't matter because I didn't really like that. Didn't like the elf anyway. I think there's one that's got a weird stat here at the bottom. I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm going to stop. But I did like that they did that. Now, I don't know how many people actually made their own NPCs for 4th edition, or if they just used the stats that were in the book. I think there's, this is, what's Victor saying? These old Grognard editions could use some updating, make them more like 5e. I want to play a hot tiefling with cantrips. Yeah.
Or a magical dwarf.
Right. Yeah. I know Malachi's backing off this, but I kind of agree a little bit. He says, give credit to 4E. It didn't need the attribute score for the monsters. I think on one hand, 4E did show how you could have a variety of monsters, in this case, NPCs, on one page that you could use at the table. It's still pretty good utility. I would argue superior to old school in terms of utility. If you love 4th edition, be careful. Listen to what I'm saying. If you loved 4th edition, then 4E was pretty nice to just flop that book open and mostly play. And I'm sure if you bought extra monster manuals, you probably had even more options. So, but that's not my cup of tea. So I feel like I should wrap. This is only a portion of this. This is probably going long today. Let me do the 5E one, which I'm going to say it again. I liked it even better than 4th, not as well as 3rd. They do this. So they have these classes. Can you see the Archmage and the Acolyte starting to show up? I don't know if you can see it. Let me make it a little bigger. I'll start with the Acolyte. So they statted up certain characters. This is
you might want to move it down a little bit so we can see the title of it. Okay. Because there's extra information there too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm supposed to shut off the sidebar. So yeah, there's like these stats for these characters in Appendix B, and I pre-statted all the spells, picked hit points, whole ball of wax. I think even gear. Let me slide over to this Archmage. So notice he's pretty boss. He's a fairly high-level caster. Joe would say weenie armor class, and I wouldn't disagree. But as far as 5e goes, he's pretty good. Got him pretty well statted out. And then talks about... Now, they did give them weird abilities that PCs didn't have. So I think it's... I don't mind that. For some people, it was kind of weird. My PDF is illegal. Is that what he's saying? Why is it illegal? I thought I bought it. Maybe I got it and I don't know. Anyway, if it's illegal, I should get rid of it. That's what Malachi says.
So if you look at it, shows a couple of spells that it would the Archmage would cast on himself, I would say. Mage armor would be one of them. Yeah. Stone skin. I don't know what the 4th edition version of mage armor did for you, but it was a variety of different things over the course of the different editions. 3rd edition, it was +4. Yeah. Early editions, it was, I think, a bit better.
Basic Expert says Manny hates those hit dice stuff. 1000 D20 plus 9. 5, 6, 7. Is that what that says? Is that a typo on there? Let me see. I must have missed it.
I don't
know. But that's
18 D8 plus 18.
Okay. Maybe he's talking about something else. And then Malachi says they changed it in the multiverse. Oh, that's cool. He says he's exaggerating on purpose. So, and Malachi says the monster of the multiverse changed the stat block. But at least they had a section for NPCs. In fact, I think in section B at the very top, yeah, appendix for non-player characters. Again, utility plus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was playing 5e quite a bit a year or two ago, I used a lot of those. Just threw that into my wizard's going to have the Archmage template. My cleric's going to be the Acolyte. So I think utility is pretty high.
So it says 15 here with mage armor because I guess it's dex. So
yeah, and he's probably
plus 3 instead of plus 4.
Yeah, mage armor's weird. Their armor class adjustment's weird. I do kind of understand why they did it. I mean, that game is trying to flatten things out and keeping people on, what do they call it? You love the word. We used to always worry about it.
Organic?
No, they talked about how they described how they built the monsters and the challenges. It's basically more hit points for tougher monsters. They call it, there's a name.
Bounding accuracy?
Bounded accuracy.
Bounded.
Yeah.
Right. So I found something on eBay.
Yep.
Instant bad guys. Is this the thing that he was talking about?
Who's he?
Malachi. Is it Malachi that was talking about instant bad guys?
I don't know. I didn't see that somewhere. He was talking about.
It was a little bit. Yeah, it's Iron Man.
Oh.
So it's a 40-page book.
Oh wow!
Right. So looks like this is it, and Iron Man can say yes or no. Yeah, Iron Man.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, let's see, it's $60.
Oh, it's probably an older book, right? So
would we say it's worth it? I mean, it's 2,400 or 24,000 NPCs. I don't know if that's worth it.
Everything's so collectible, dude. It's tough. I wouldn't.
So, Iron Man, would you say $60 is worth it?
Yeah.
In today's money? Back then, it was probably 5 cents, right? Considering
nickel. He said not worth it for the money for sure. Yeah.
I mean, considering inflation.
Right.
You ate 2 of these, hon?
Those were mine. I was giving you what was left of mine to be nice.
Oh.
You were going to trade that for the cream one. Did you save the cream one for me?
I haven't seen that box since you gave it to me, so I don't know.
Way did you ate them all?
No.
Okay. So anyway, so how do these dudes fit in the world? So like the idea is most monsters we know. Do you think I used to think this, Joe, that the PCs eventually reach a level where it's almost like NPCs are the only foes that are any good for them to fight?
Say that again.
I used to think this, and sometimes I still do, that PCs eventually reach a level where monsters, the regular monsters, aren't hardly worth it.
Definitely, AD&D got that way.
Yeah,
and I know that we had this conversation in the AD&D days, and then so Bruce just comes in here and says wrong for no reason.
He's talking Pathfinder or 3rd edition. I agree, Bruce. You can put templates and garbage all over monsters. I understand that. I was talking more about AD&D, but 3rd edition it's tedious, dude. At certain levels, it gets tedious. So you got to keep piling crap on top of crap. But this was during 2nd edition. No, further back, 1st edition. I remember when I thought you guys were at levels where I couldn't envision anything challenging you except demon lords and archdevils. Yeah, that's true. You can. Bruce says you can now think with another advantage of 3rd. You can put templates and classes and crap all over monsters, but I'm talking though that if you just use the monsters out of the core books, and I'll tell you this, Bruce, I remember when James Jacobs during Pathfinder 1E said that he thought the first 2 bestiary books, there were no monsters as written to challenge characters above 15th level. He said that on the website. So Well, yeah, you can reverse engineer, but if you're giving them levels, then they're essentially NPCs with monster powers. And what makes them more powerful? Is it their monster abilities or those levels you're giving them? So then, in essence, it's still an NPC challenge. If I give a hill giant 10 levels, he's an anti-dwarf. James Jacobs, I don't know. But if I give a hill giant 10 levels of fighter, his badassery is not due to the hill giant part. It's due to those fighter levels. So again, NPCs means better challenge. You're making him a non-player character by giving him class levels. Right?
Yeah, so yeah.
Let's forget that. I mean, I think back in TSR D&D, if you didn't do stuff like that, I thought at mid to high levels, and not very high level, 10th to 12th level, characters became pretty much able to fight all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So
the high level, even mid level, has never really been well engineered in the game.
I don't think so.
Even though they had it, they didn't really make it very well. They didn't make it so the characters continue to have challenges right out of the book. You had to be creative as a DM.
Yeah, and that's Jack the 71st challenging high level PCs. Yeah, the game changes at higher levels, and I think every version of D&D I've played, I could have ran at levels 1 to 20. I never worried about that, but I do think that if I were to run those now, I think I understand that I would do that a little differently. But I was just talking in general. NPCs can be some of the toughest foes you can face, especially on party.
Well, sure. Imagine throwing Death Spell and any number of other PC abilities that are really geared to go after the monsters.
Yeah.
Throw them at the PCs. Mordenkainen's Disjunction.
Oh, gosh. But you know what? I would think the NPC mage wouldn't want to do it as much as you wouldn't want to do it, because you're destroying their gear, which you can't then get as treasure.
Well, you get the old. I'm not sure if the newest version of the spell does this, but the older versions of the spell breaks it down to its component parts, and they're all there for you. So you just scoop them up, and then you have to remake it, and it takes time and gold from there. But at least it's not just a disintegrate, which is also pretty nasty, because the oldest version of disintegrate, if I'm remembering correctly, some versions of disintegrate just disintegrated the person. Others disintegrated everything. All you are is a fine bit of dust. And it was a saving throw at one point. And then it became, amount of damage. And if that damage was higher than you could take, then you were a pile of dust.
I know we played it both ways. I don't know if they're in the rules, because you got to realize I was reading the book and only halfway reading it. So, rival Jack the 71st for sure. Rival adventuring parties, some of the players' enemies to really challenge. Yeah, that would really
Mirror of opposition.
Oh, fantastic!
You used that a lot, and we hated it because it's tough. It was tough.
It's so tough, and I would have to get more and more creative, because you guys are like, "Is there a mirror in the room? We're not looking."
There with you. Right there with you.
Yep.
That's also cool. Says I've pissed off more DMs by playing a mage that can just solve most things with creative use of spells.
Yeah. And I have to admit, I've been pissed off by players doing that too. But usually quickly, I'm like, that was pretty dang creative. So probably less than pissed, I get more impressed. So it just means I got to up my game, right?
Yeah.
What's the best way to create NPCs? I maintain it's not statting them up like a PC.
If you want to take that time, then you do it beforehand. But I would say, yes, your time is better spent with what you did eventually with 3rd edition.
Right.
You just had a table, and that's what they had right there. They had a table, even their stats.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
In 3rd edition. But for Pathfinder, you decided to make a small, or even a more brief table where they're just very general for anything. If it's, I can't remember exactly how you set the table up, but it was just a table full of stuff.
Yep.
It was easy.
The table was it was no bigger than 5 or 6 rows by 5 or 6 columns. It was nothing like.
Yeah, it was very small. It was very easy to use when you showed it to me. Oh yeah, that'd be easy.
Yeah. So, and I would cut out all the skills and say, you know what? They get a bonus of +5 against the skills that they're not really good at, and a bonus plus if they're higher level characters. It would depend on their level. So yes, we're talking modules now. Lady asked about reverse dungeon, and Bruce offered up a paladin in hell. Right on. That's a good one. That's a Monty Cook one, I think. Back when he made good stuff. Did I say that out loud? What about named NPCs? You're playing in the Forgotten Realms and you meet Elminster. Or Dritz Duerden, and who's his buddy? Who's his buddy? Who's Dritz's little? Well, he's dead.
He had the dwarf.
Bruner Battlehammer, and the Barbarian.
Yeah, I don't remember them very well because I really didn't care for the novels all that much. I know.
But what do you think about Star Wars? You bring in Luke
minority.
Skywalker. You bring in Luke Skywalker. You bring in Darth Vader.
You know, I don't care for that too much.
Don't want to see them at all?
If they're quest givers, so that's fine. But if they show up to upstage you or something like that, if the DM's using them to make you look, like the sad piece of adventurer that you are, then no, I don't really care for that. But with Elminster, when you used Elminster, it was generally he was hiring us for a mission.
Yeah.
Wolfgar, right? And that was fine. If somebody wanted to get all uppity with him, we all knew that was a bad idea.
Yeah. Jack the 71st says, never do that sort of thing in Star Wars. Yeah. Don't bring in Han Solo. Don't bring in Darth Vader, because you're inevitably something's going to happen that's going to, you know what? If you don't care, what if the players kill Darth Vader? We'll see what happens after that. Don't make him special. Maybe the whole universe changes. Right.
The best way to handle that is if people want to get froggy with Darth Vader, you just say, okay, we're going to narrate this. After you guys look really impressive walking up to Darth Vader, he chokes all of you out simultaneously. So roll up new characters.
Hey, Malachi, on a side note, I kind of want to know, but I'm kind of want to save it. He said, did anyone hear about Owen K.C. Stevens? I have not.
He has been diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
Now I recognize the name.
He was a Paizo guy originally, I think, unless I'm incorrect.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what he's done, but I know he's a known person. I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't recall. It's been a while since I heard his name. But he's come down with cancer, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm not inclined to use named NPCs. I did do the Elminster a little bit, and I used to always talk about the Circle of 8 and the Greyhawk campaign, but it was more like talking about it. It wasn't so much using it in the game. Oh, Star Wars for WotC. Okay.
That's fairly popular. The D20 version?
Yeah, I got a copy of it. I got the Saga system, actually. Darth, I tried to avoid the period of time that big NPCs exist in, or just have more background filler. Yeah, I'm more likely to do that. I mean, and I've never had players, not since we've got older, really care to hunt down NPCs and screw them up. Oh, there you go.
Bruce coming through with some more knowledge. Owen Casey Stevens wrote a lot of third-party books for 3.x. He's a mentor of sorts, and he did author the Advanced Bestiary, which I know that Bruce has brought up a few times.
Yeah.
Which has 100 templates for monsters.
Right on. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Malachi's making a comment, says Saga's good, but WEG is best for Star Wars.
I've heard that.
Got no dog in that fight. I have no preference. I'm not really a big Star Wars RPG guy, but when I played Saga, I've enjoyed it. When I played, I think I played WEG once, and it was fine. Actually, you know what? I did play WEG once, and believe it or not, I'll drop a name here that's not that big of a deal, but Chris Perkins and I think we played together at Gen Con. He was just a contributor to Dragon or Dungeon magazine back then. I'm not sure he even worked for WotC. So he was a fine player.
So, Victor, are you saying he's done a 5e Star Wars, or are you suggesting we like that? That's what you like best?
Yeah.
I don't know how much about the Star Wars RPGs. All right.
What about NPC generators, dude? I listed a few in the links. I'm sure folks can find them. I couldn't find one for 4E, a generator of NPCs, but I did for every other edition.
I'm sure there's one out there. I mean, it's just, well, there may not be, but it's odd that there wouldn't be one, and one for all the other editions.
I'm sure there is one for 4E, but I've never found it. Oh, he says it's free. He says 5E Star Wars is free. He's messing around. Okay. In the DM's toolkit, that sounds familiar. I don't know what that is. Is that something that came in 2nd edition? Bruce says the best NPC generation I found was in DM's toolkit. Is that a 2nd edition book or electronic something? Yeah. I was thinking more of online stuff. I just commented. I think sometimes they can be too much effort. I do like the fast character generator. You can just Google that for 5e, and that makes characters pretty quick. I have used that for a quick NPC. Yeah, I like it.
I like generators if you need them. I mean, if you have something like you kind of made a generator.
I did
with that that's spreadsheet
table.
Exactly. Your matrix that you
table,
have.
just a little
your
table.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a generator. I mean, you don't even need to. There's not like you have any there's no randomness to it. You just right. There's not it's not built to make random encounters or anything like that. You just pick something out of it.
Yeah.
You could probably retrofit it into some sort of random generator, though. I would imagine. But these are good for on the spot if you didn't have something made up and you don't have anything you can draw upon already. Your random generators you can find online are good tools. Like, do you have Dungeon in here? No, you do not.
Dungini?
D-O.
Donjon.
D-O-J-O-N or D-U-J-O-N. I can't remember which one
it is. Donjon, D-O-N-J-O-N.
Donjon probably is.
The card, it was from the card on the book, the Deck of Many Things was the Donjon was one card. It was a bad card, I think.
Let me see.
Donjon, I think. Yeah.
D-O-N.
Yeah.
O-N.com.
Yeah. Donjon says Malachi. He's going. I trust Malachi. I think he's right because I'm right.
Donjon Marine Company Incorporated.
Stars Without Numbers. Now there's a game, Joe, we've got to try at some point. I've got Jack the 71st says, oh, wrong one.
Probably org or something like that.
There's a Stars Without Numbers NPC generator out there. I want to play that Stars Without Numbers, World Without Numbers, Cities Without Numbers, Kevin Crawford thing. I mean, I was pleased with Scarlet Heroes, so I think I would like it. I think they're nice whenever, especially if I need a PC. Like I'm going to play in a 5e game, I'm supposed to make my own PC. I'll do fast character generator and just kind of clean it up for myself. But yeah, I like them. I don't think I need them, but they're nice to have, especially in some of the 3rd edition and higher versions of the game, especially 3rd edition. It's nice to have an electronic generator because, well, you got the DMG, so that's pretty good. But if you really want something unique, using all the books and 47 different Splat books, then yeah, sure.
Well, it has a random encounter table or generator. So,
Crafty's got a good question. Crafty mad. Related question. How do you feel about character generators? Should players be comfortable with pen paper creation first or jump straight to the generator? Wow. I don't feel I know the game very well until I can make a character from scratch. If I'm just using a generator, I mean, when I say I don't know the game, I mean, I don't know how my character got made. It's like, oh, look, magic. You push a button. Because that fast character generator, you just tell it level, race, what is it called? It's not subclass. What you get at 3rd level in 5e, your specialty thing. Whatever your sub, like you become like an arcane trickster or whatever. I think I would rather a player make one first, but honestly, if they didn't, I don't care. And if you're happy with an electronic generator, use it. What do you think, Joe?
Oh yeah, learn the game. Generators are kind of a crutch if you don't already know the game very well. Yeah, I finally got to Don John. He's updated it a little bit, the interface. But yeah, the generators probably you should hold off on. Learn the game first.
Yeah, I think Crafty Man is saying that his opinion is that a player should know how to make a character with his eyes closed before taking the shortcut. This means multiple. Dude, it's fine. I don't think that's a problem. Darthic's saying the same thing. If I haven't made it on pencil and paper, I just don't know. And I did that for a while early on when I was starting to play 5e. I didn't really read the character generation rules. So
now, what about games that have so many moving parts they almost require one? I mean, I've heard some game reviews where there's so many moving parts. It would be hard not to make a character without a generator of some kind.
Yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah, Legion. There's what's that space game you guys reviewed that you ended up not liking? Battle Lords of the 23rd Century, the newest edition. Yeah. Apparently, there's so many little bits and pieces to that. It might be difficult to make a character without a generator. Yeah. Which is probably bad design, to be honest.
Not something I was telling Joe before we started, I am really leaning toward much lighter games. And I don't know how any other way to say it. I'm liking older versions of D&D like OSE because of simplicity, and Savage Worlds simplicity. But I also like it being simple leaves it really open for me to create. So, yeah, I think maybe that's a thing where, I don't know. Maybe I still think you got to know the system though. If I'd never played 3rd edition and I was starting to play it, I'd want a player to make the character that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it wouldn't matter if it was simple or not. I mean, I would think if it was simple, it'd be easy. 13 Age is pretty easy.
Oh yeah. Very, very few selections that you need to make.
The book needs a re-editing though. It's
not organized. I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rifts can be a difficult book to slog through to get everything down.
Strangely difficult because I literally enjoy reading every sentence in that book. I enjoy it, but it's like flip here, flip there, flip here. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, this Battle Lords game I was thinking about getting when I heard it reviewed on some other channel a while back, and then they started talking about the nitty gritty they get into with the guns and hand-to-hand combat, and then I was like, oh, that's a turn off.
Yeah.
And that was I'm pretty sure that was for 7th edition. I didn't know it was woke though, but I'm not surprised.
Legion says, but there is no game that he knows of that's as crunchy as the Battle Lords game. Fair enough.
Well, someone brought up Traveler. Same thing with old school Traveler.
Okay.
That has that. I don't know if you can skip the is it life cycle or whatever it's called for character creation, where you go through life events, like you get recruited into the military, and then your military career, you roll and see how long it is and what rank you attain, and maybe you end up dying of a heart attack or something like that, which can happen. Apparently, I can't remember what that's called. There's a term for that. There's a couple of games with that kind of character generation. Life path.
Yeah. Malachi says he's got the heart of it. I think Palladium's biggest issue is organization.
I
think we've all said that. I know Max at Legion of Myth would love them to do a reorganizing the Palladium rules, and it would be great. But I do kind of wonder how much better they could do. I feel like they could do a lot, but I'm not an editor, and I've never made a book, so what do I know?
We read them.
Yeah, we do read them, which means
we read them. We know that there's some organization issues that can be improved upon. I mean, someone said something about giving early games kind of a pass, but once, like say, OD&D in basic, 1st edition, I don't think they start running out of excuses because they started They were a decent company size company by then. It could afford editing.
Right.
The earliest game, maybe not, but by 1E,
oh yeah,
they could afford it. And third edition, remember the first release of third edition?
Yeah.
It was kind of a joke about how many typos and editing issues there were. They had a whole errata. I mean, pages and pages of errata. It was ridiculous.
Well, we shouldn't have expected more. Not only did they make a new edition of the game, but they severely changed the game. And so it's going to be double whammy if their editing wasn't good. Back to NPCs, though. What do you think about do you have any? I don't know if we want to spend too much time on this last part, but do you have any favorite examples of NPCs? I listed two, one from way back in the day, and one from I'm not sure if you were even playing when I used that Ravenlock guy.
I remember the reference, but I don't remember the NPC very well.
Yeah, so
Mordred's is just, or Deerdom.
Deerdom, yeah, he was the Mordred spelled backwards.
Right.
That was early days, dude.
And that he was annoying.
He was one of my most annoying NPCs, but his name was a one-trick use. I mean, as soon as you guys figured it out, I couldn't do that anymore. Every time I gave an NPC name, they would mess around with, they flip it backwards and they do anagrams. Like, what are you up to, Randy?
There's also, let me see. No. So there was two that I could think of as well. Most recently was, as far as on the annoying end, was Beauregard.
Oh, that was recently, yeah. Yeah. What was his name? I made him after Colonel Sanders in our Elysium game.
For visual, but yeah, he was an annoying personage in the city that we ventured out of, and he was causing all kinds of trouble.
Yeah,
and my character wanted to break his sword off inside this person's cavities somehow. Yeah,
I used this guy and he was like a high-ranking falutin.
Yeah, he was like a lord.
And so the NPCs, they hated his guts. Joe especially. Joe couldn't. He wanted to choke the life out of him. And by the time your character Bush got to high enough level, you would have, if you'd have gotten a room alone with him, you wouldn't have cared what anybody said.
No.
You just killed him because he screwed you guys 7 ways to Sunday.
Oh, and as we were all leaving our world, which was being destroyed.
Yes.
Yeah, he kind of made it a little more difficult for our characters to leave.
He did.
And he didn't need to. He just did.
He was just like middle finger.
So I was like, oh yeah, I catch up to you.
High Garden.
High Garden.
Yeah. Technically speaking, I need to give you a chance to take him out because he's still you and he both are technically out in the plains and in or near Sigil. So I should give you a chance to kill him. Play old school Pathfinder.
He pulled. What's the card from the deck of many things where you get enmity?
Oh, the enmity with a demon. What is that called? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat.
Whichever card it is, he pulled that card, and the demon is my character.
Right, with Butch. Yeah. So it sounds like we kind of got to bounce back to what Legion said. Apparently, Kevin and Sean from Palladium admitted that it could use some reorganization, but this is a good question. They're just two people. Do you want something new or rehash something old?
Oh, that's an easy choice. That's an easy choice. I'd rather have something new.
I'm actually the other one. I'd like to see the Rifts book redone, but I do understand that.
Editing's expensive.
Fair enough, dude. Keep making your stuff.
And it's not like they could just say, here, edit this better.
Yeah.
Let us know when you're done.
Yeah.
But because, that's not the way, I don't think that's the way that Sean works or Kevin works. He's got to be involved. So it's going to take cycles out of making new stuff. So.
Yeah. And Legion saying they have other priorities. Fair enough. Been needing to watch that video anyway. I wish them nothing the best. I mean, having met them, they're good dudes. Whatever, man. Make your game. People love it anyway. Quibbles. It's fine.
Yeah. It's a well-known thing, and people still like it and play it.
Yeah, honestly, in our recent past, High Garden's probably been the best NPC I've ever created.
Now, you made another new one in our Essentials game.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't had too many encounters with him, the bad guy wizard, he got away.
Oh yes, he'll be coming.
But the NPC I was thinking of though was there is kind of a maintenance man at the temple. I can't remember his name.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Who he's memorable, and that's the thing with the way you do NPCs is you make them memorable. I can't remember the guy's name.
Right.
I remember that he kind of gave us the skinny on a lot of the stuff in the surrounding area that was basically a quest giver in video game speak. Right. But it was pretty cool. He gave us a lot to think about in how to go. And that's how you do kind of a sandbox. You have a few people there spilling the beans on things, and then it gives you things to think about and do.
Yeah. So that was, I'm trying to think. There was the guy that lived in the mansion, and then there was the old man of the temple where your cleric was at. The old man of the temple was the one that was, you talking about the old guy that lived in the mansion that sent you into that one place, the Drench or whatever, where you fought the Ettercap druid thingy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ettercaps.
That was a good fight. So
yeah.
Hold on. What does this say? Legion says, for those that have not see it, Sean and I got forkful in or convictions toward the end. What?
Forceful. Okay. Forceful is what he's trying to say.
Okay. A little bit different. Okay, as long as it didn't turn out too bad, unlike tonight. Me and Al got annoyed by Al. Can't help it. He pushed my buttons. So, yeah, it's cool. Looking forward to listening to it, Legion. All right. I think that's all we got to say about NPCs. Probably should tell people to do some cool stuff. And we've been going to this for almost 2 hours now. It's good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You thought it was going to be a short one.
I did too. We got NPC crazy. But yeah, you should give them the sweet banners and tell them all the cool stuff to do.
The little heat towards L didn't last too long.
Nah, but I did lose it. So, and I'm not apologizing because it annoyed me. And I think he was wrong.
He was wrong. All right. So, since we're in between, this is an in-between time, this is a good time to tell everybody to hit like and subscribe and do all those nice things. Here we go. Subscribe.
Come on, do it.
Do all the things. Like, subscribe, share, comment after the fact. Visit our Patreon page and sign up.
Yeah, man.
We will be glad to have you aboard. And I committed us to stuff on the Patreon page. Mm-hmm. So if someone goes to there and does the $5 one, there's going to be extra video content for those guys. And if they go to $10 route, there's going to be adventure content. So, yes.
Yeah. Do you want to do the second segment, or do you want to call it here and wrap up with big geek stuff? We do got a little promo we want to do.
Let's see.
A shout out. Do you want to do segment 2?
Yes. And I meant to download that thing and I forgot.
Oh, okay.
So that we could show it. Do you have it?
I do not. You mean Mad Scribe?
Yeah.
No, but I can get it.
Yeah. Why don't you get it while I go over or quickly talk about
sure.
Quick Hit. Our Quick Hit hard target subject this week is the Paladin. We want to deal with this rapid fire.
Yeah.
The lawful good Paladin, the old school Paladin, the actual Paladin, not all the stupid Paladins of all the alignments nonsense.
Right.
Lawful good. How should he be handled? Played.
Yeah.
A lawful a-hole or lawful stupid? I say neither.
Right. I do too.
Especially in the old version of the Paladin where you had to have a 17 charisma.
Yep.
You're charismatic. You're not going to be, you might be a lovable jerk at worst.
Right.
But 17 or higher charisma, you're going to be well liked.
Yep.
So
in the old school game for sure. And me and Joe have always been on the same page with the Paladin. We had players come and go and talk about how Paladins should act. And I know you can get caught up in the code and back in the day, your alignment's changing and you're losing levels and all that good stuff. I just always thought good trumped lawful with the Paladin, that he was good. He was a very good and I added kind. You do, Mr. Max. I don't disagree. The Paladin's hard to convince outside of a Christian mindset. And I know people are going to just blast us now with all these different options. And I know they exist. But when I think Paladin, I kind of think of a Christian Templar, man, the old Templar, but even more like a true Christian mindset where he's kind and generous and wants to help people and he wants to be good. And if you look in the old rules, if I remember correctly, you could do a non-lawful act and atone for it, but you could not atone if you did an evil act. I mean, you could quote
that kind of says that good is more important.
Yeah. Yeah, Legion. I know there was one. I'll take your word for it. 148. Great. Yeah. I never saw that a lot, Mr. Max. Compassionate. When I play a paladin, I am absolutely that. I played a paladin in college and I drove my group crazy. Our buddy Philip was in the group and we would be given a quest. Like some town needed us to kill these 2 dragons, a mated pair of green dragons. They go, here's all the money that we have. We got 2,000 gold and a magic sword. And I'll be like, we do not need payment. And I'm speaking for the whole group. They're like, what? And so, and they go, please use the and I'm like, unnecessary. Please keep that to defend yourself.
That's the Three Amigos move. That's awesome.
And the players are looking at me like, holy crap, dude, we could use that money. And that sword's magical and blah, 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 blah. And of course, Philip went behind my back and made a deal to give us the money, even if he doesn't want
Of course. Don't listen to him.
So, yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of variations. Yeah, paladins are humble, have
humility.
If you want to play an ass, play a cavalier. I agree.
Yes.
I think paladins should be kind. They should be heroic. And I think it should almost be like, I've always thought it's like pulling teeth to get me to accept payment to do a good deed.
Right.
But you do have to have money to take care of your stuff. And I get it. So if they're like, yeah, I would say like donate half of my share to the church. I need upkeep for my gear. You know, if we're each getting paid 1,000 gold, I'll take maybe 500, maybe 300, just enough to keep things going and keep me in like a room somewhere in Greyhawk. But I don't need to be like living in a fancy apartment somewhere and, you know, I'm a man of the people.
It's hard to find an example like in media because they're especially, I mean, even if you go to Excalibur, I would say none of those guys are paladins. They're all a version of the cavalier or knights because none of them were all that. Maybe Arthur, but you know, he had his problems too. They all had some failing that would keep them from actually being a paladin.
I think Bruce is saying Harn is better than Greyhawk. Maybe. I don't really know. There's a Harn coming to Kickstarter, though. I think
someone can
in Deities and Demigods, the Knights of the Round Table were statted up, or a few of them were. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going on an
there are some old school D&D write-ups.
Lancelot was originally a paladin, but since he messed around with Guinevere, he lost that.
Yeah.
And I think Arthur was a paladin. I think he might have been the only one that was a paladin. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's funny. Go ahead.
I would say you could come close, I think, with maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree with the Highlander. Like the Highlander from the TV show. Yeah. He was pretty goody. I mean, he maybe more of a modern take on it, perhaps. But that would be close. Even the movie Highlander, first movie Highlander guy, he was a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
He even at least one time when there was a fight breaking out at the very beginning, he was like, "Wait." He didn't want to.
Right.
But the other guy was like, I'm gonna chop your head off. Okay, bring it.
I wonder if that Dragon Magazine article Legion's talking about is the one where they had the different alignment paladins. I never liked those. They were intriguing to read about, but I didn't like the chaotic neutral paladin, the lawful neutral paladin. I didn't care for those because that
was one of the first Legion of Myth videos that I listened to on audio.
Yeah.
I don't think that it was. I believe it was from a minister who wrote that.
Oh, okay. Hey, T-shirts in the house. What's up, buddy? Glad you're here, dude.
Yeah, almost at the end.
Yeah, put a little promoted your Scarlet Heroes game, dude. Had a great time when we played. Joe put a little video out on that, so I kind of reviewed it. I liked it. Yeah, Charlemagne's Paladins. That was a supplement in second edition, one of the green splat books. Wasn't that? Mr. Max Boivin says
there may have been.
Paladins were Charlemagne's top knights charged with finding out and recouping artifacts from the Roman Empire. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I would say, Killraven. I would say the Knights of the Sword or Cross from Dresden are good examples. It's Michael for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all of them, because Dresden has kind of, not Dresden, that's the wizard.
Yeah.
Butcher has kind of a fuzzy, good conception of good.
A little fuzzy
with those guys and God.
Well,
because one of them's an atheist, right?
Yeah. But our buddy Jeff keeps quoting the part where he goes, which guy is it that's an atheist? But someone asked him about, are you still an atheist? He goes, yeah, but I'm finding it harder and harder to maintain that.
Right.
Yeah. It had to come up. Jack the 71st says the Kurgan was an excellent anti-paladin.
Yes.
Yeah. I like the anti-paladin only because there's a foil to the paladin, but I kind of don't like the name. The name is weird. I'm an anti-paladin. Are there anti-rangers and anti-wizards?
No, but they're not keyed. They're not definitely good guys. They could be. There was a Dragon Magazine article that it was a story about a ranger and a paladin and how the paladin was a big jerk and all that.
Yeah. Malachi says, so Dresden has 5e paladins. Yeah, I hate the paladin in 5e. I hate it worse than 13th Age because you can be like, it's just a generic term for a champion of some sort. I mean, it's fine if you want to do that, but you should call it a champion. I wouldn't call it I
agree, Killraven. Sonya is a great character.
Yeah.
He talks a big game, but he does come through with the good guy stuff.
Michael's my favorite still.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah. Absolutely.
Legacy's here. He says he missed a good one. It seems he just did a video making NPCs with personalities. Right on.
Well, you'll have to catch up on the rewind.
Yeah, I think you're right, Patrick. I believe they renamed him Blackguard in third edition. Good night, Larry Elliott. Take care, bud. I like the Hell Knight organization in Galarion. That was a cool one. Those were kind of Blackguard type characters that worshipped Asmodeus.
Yeah.
But yeah, this used to be a big thing. Does the paladin have to be lawful good and all that kind of stuff? I think the paladins in 5e are definitely wishy-washy turds.
Yeah. Personally, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you really should just stick to lawful good paladin.
Yeah, just stick to it, dude.
If you're not lawful good, you're not a paladin. You're something else.
If you're not lawful good, if you're not lawful good, you're not doing the paladin right.
In old D&D, at name level, if you were, or that might be in the rule cyclopedia. I may be getting them mixed up. When you get to name level, you can choose to become a paladin.
Yes.
Or there were two other options, and I can't remember the names.
Avenger,
an Avenger, and a paladin, and one. I think there's one other.
There is one other. I don't remember the name. That's in the rule cyclopedia.
Yeah. So, and the lawful option is paladin. I'm pretty sure you had to be lawful. There was no not lawful paladin.
Yeah, I would disagree with you, Legacy. Good night, Tonka. Legacy says, I always argued you could be a paladin of an evil god. That seems hard for me to buy, dude. But
right, you could be a powerful divine fighter of an evil god. You just could give it a different name. You're not a paladin.
Yeah, I like Blackguard. That was good. Blackguard was a good name in third edition. So, Errant Knight. Thank you, Malachi. He calls it the Errant Knight.
Right.
That was the other one.
That sounds familiar. I'm just saying, why mix it up with different things? right? The lawful good, destroyer of evil with the holy sword is a paladin. If you are a champion of an evil god, the class should be like you call it champion, like Bruce is saying here.
Right.
Give it a different name. That way there's no confusion.
Patrick says he expected people to correct my pronunciation of blackguard. I think is it pronounced blackguard?
Blackguard. That's
If
a Britishism.
If it's pronounced that way, it's a sucky way to say it. So I'm okay if I'm wrong because my way sounds better. I'm willing to be wrong.
It's spelled in such a way that anyone looking at it should pronounce it blackguard.
They should. Yes. Pause black and guard. Yeah. All right, dude. Why don't we shall I share a little bit?
Yeah, share. Do the sharing.
I found a picture. A friend of ours, years and thousands of years ago, we did a review of his game, which I have on my shelf. Let me make this a little bigger. He goes by Michael Miraglia on the Facebooks. His game is, oh goodness, I can't find it. Player's Guide to Encore. Yeah, Encore is a setting, but this is a new old school magazine. You can find it in print at Walmart, Amazon, and Barnes and Nobles. You can also support him at Patreon. Mad Scribe magazine, first issue, is out. I did not get my article in the first issue. There were so many, but there's a lot of good folks. Yes, the D12 system. Correct, Legion. Encore. Yes, the D12 system. Let me grab it so you can see it. He is a buddy, only distantly. But this is a nice little game, a science fantasy game. But his magazine is not all about Encore. That's just the game that Michael made. I think it's really a cool magazine and exciting to be a part of it. I hope if I can get some of I got an old setting I did for Savage Worlds years and years ago. I need to get it off an old hard drive. If I can figure out how to do that, I may publish it in Mad Scribe later on. He said he would love for me to do an apocalyptic setting, but I have an article that should be coming in Mad Scribe issue 2. You can support Michael through Patreon and you can get a discount on the magazine. I've already ordered my print copy through drive-thru. Unfortunately, I'm also going to look for another copy at Walmart because I just want to buy one off the racks like the old days.
Right.
So it's exciting.
Yeah. See, we were going to have him over at Big Geek Emporium, but the updates are being delayed and delayed and delayed. I'm hoping it doesn't end up being more delays beyond beyond April, but I might have to change hosts because their tech support is for crap, and there's nothing I can do about that.
But dude, I would encourage you to support it. I'm trying to remember who's in the first issue. I feel like Pundit has an article and a few other folks you guys would know. I think Grim Jim might have one, and I think our old buddy David Gwill is going to have an adventure in there soon. But I didn't see it in the first issue. His might be later. Yeah. So, but anyway. Support that man. He's cool stuff. He's our kind of people. So he's a cool dude. Yeah. Anything?
Very cool. I've joined his Patreon and I got the whole shebang, kit and caboodle.
Yeah. I
think when we're going to get the print, but it's on its way.
Yeah. Did you get it through drive-through too?
Yeah.
Yeah. You really can't help it. He's a good cat though. So yeah, throw him a couple of bucks if you're interested. It's not super cheap to get the printed version, but the discount helps. So Patrick is right. If you can print him on Facebook, he does have dank memes, dude. He lays it on the left.
He doesn't hide his opinions at all.
He does not. I love that dude. I'd love to meet him. I bet we'd have fun gaming with Michael. So
we would.
Flady had mentioned, he's probably gone. Flady's still here. He had mentioned about Big Geek Con. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm feeling like it may not happen this year. I don't want to say I'm overwhelmed. That's not true, but my energies are not there right now with CabinCon coming up and other things. I just can't get focused. I think the chance of Big Geek Con happening in September are probably slim, but Joe might slap me around here the next week and I'll get my stuff together. So, because he really wants me to do it. I can know he does. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at.
He does.
I still got to get my stupid module done. David will, I think he has reviewed it and I need to get it put together. Patrick's art. So I'm excited to put that on Big Geek Emporium.
We're excited to get it on there. Get it on.
Get it on. Yeah. I have Lion and Dragon too. They're talking about that and stuff. So, oh, look at that quote. Isn't that from Big Trouble?
It is. Randy Spirit going north and south.
Randy Spirit, yeah, going north and south. Nah, I don't want to say no, but I'm not sure. CabinCon's happening like always. Iron Man makes a good point. You'll be too old after this year to do it. Better do it this year. Maybe I will. I mean, I'm not saying it's out, but I'm feeling like a weak little turd.
Well, you never know. The Silicon Valley Bank disaster, it might spill over and all the hotels fall apart. Who knows?
True. That'd make the con cheap. We have one hotel that's like, please come in. We'll give you the rooms for $1. It's not really that cost. It's just getting it set up, and I don't have time to do no, that's not true. I have time. My heart, I just can't get into it. I got other things on my mind. And I hate to say it, but I do. So, but I do want it to happen. I would love to have everybody in the stream here gaming. It'd be so much fun. We would have a hell of a time. It'd be crazy fun.
I'd like to say it should be a matter of just booking some time, booking a space, and then we would set up somewhere a way for people to pre-order tickets, and then hopefully have enough interest to generate the funds necessary.
I guess what I'm figuring is tabletop events I should set up, but I'm kind of not. I just can't get into it. It's computer crap, and I thought about just booking a couple of rooms and seeing if people will buy tickets, but I'd be out several $100s if we didn't get enough people. And I don't want to charge $50 a ticket. It's not that kind of con. I would love for it to be something. What is Bruce saying? Bruce Lombardo says, I went to Michigan for CabinCon. I didn't have the best directions. I was in Michigan going from cabin to cabin, slaughtering deer and making jerky. I made more money in the Michigan than Texas. Dude, you got to tell us when you're here, bro. We'll give you the right directions.
You met all the preppers in Michigan.
They're all here. All the preppers are here, so you're in good company.
Well, there's a fair amount in Texas too.
Oh, true. That's right. I'm sure they probably have more.
We got a lot of hunters here. I don't know if we have a lot of preppers. Definitely a lot of hunters. Anyway, with all of that said, I think it's time to wind down this puppy. And if you'd like to support our show, please like and subscribe, as we've been telling you, and share us all around the world with your friends and enemies alike. We will have a lot of links in the show notes. Last week, it took a long time for me to get to that, but this week it will be done post-haste. We're going to have links for how you can support us, such as PayPal, Streamlabs, and now Patreon. Just search for Biggest Geekest in all these places. And head over to Big Geek Emporium and support the creators out there as soon as you could possibly do. We will be having an update, I'm hoping soon. I'm hoping it's very, very soon. A travel mug. I need to get on that. I will get on the travel mug, and I will get on. I'm actually working on a tapestry as well with our biggest logoist.
Darthiac says, as far as tickets, you could just sell them on Big Geek Emporium. That's an idea.
Right. So we just need to. I guess we could have an inventory attached to that. They won't be physical.
No.
They'll be digital.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we can figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, let me talk to Joe. Maybe I'll just. It's not that much. I can just reserve it, and I'm sure we'll get some people.
Reserve it, see how much it's going to be, and then
I know how much it's going to be, so I just need to do it.
And work out if we don't have enough attendees, if there's if we might end up having to
cancel
cancel.
Cancel date, yeah, sure. And I don't want to make money. I just, so everybody knows, I'm not caring about making money, but I'd like to get my money back and call it even. That'd be good. So,
yes, at the very least. All right. With all that said, anything else you need to say?
I'm good, brother.
With that, this is Joe.
And I'm Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us. Oh, hold on. Plug. Be sure to watch our 4-part series where we have a conversation with Kevin Simbita and Sean Owen Robertson, of Palladium Books. It gets confrontational.
Legion of Myth. Do it. Yeah. All right, bud.
I, as a member, can watch it in its entirety. And really? I don't need to wait.
I need to join that. I need to get in the cool stuff. I'm not a member there. Yes. Bruce. Palladium is in Michigan, correct.
Palladium is in Michigan.
We said the thing and we're not going. I love it. These guys are too cool to leave. We can't leave you. We can't quit you.
Good night.